Good morning. Welcome to my happy place. I thought I would turn on the camera this morning so that I could share what I'm doing right now. I've done some things that just tickle me. This is pleated paper that I just saw a lovely video on Treasure Books, and Natasha showed how to do this, and I thought I would give it a try. So I used these long strips. They were quite, I had to put quite a few of them together, but I used my painty paper and made this pleated piece using my zigzag. Now, mine is a little bit different than Natasha's because she used two pieces of paper. In other words, under this strip, she had another very narrow piece of paper, and she was able to fold two together, and it did not become too bulky. But since this is back here, I did not want the bulk, so I stopped, trimmed off what I started, and just did this in two steps. I did my stitching all the way across here until I got the length across the file envelope folder, and then I went into my Hobby Lobby card here, and I found this piece of velvet, and it's got some sparkles on it, if you can see that, and I thought, wouldn't this be nice? So I laid it down and I ran it right over the top, and I zigzagged the same way right over the top of this piece. And here is what I made. Because if you'll remember, there is a fold here with an edge that I thought might cause a problem with taking things in and out. And while I'm on the subject of in and out, I'm going slowly on this because I am playing my brains out here. Today, well, we'll get back to today. This is quite a thick envelope when it is pulled to its, I don't want to move those flowers, when it is pulled to its greatest extension. And my plan is that after I finish playing on the front, I am going to fill up this file folder with maybe a journal, ephemera, whatever comes over me that I can make pretty using mauve and lilac. Now, that's my plan, and I'm sticking to it. So, today I made this side pocket because I just thought that it broke up the lines here a little bit. And I'm going to glue that down. I'm going to glue these flowers, and I just took these flowers off the roll, cut them, and just use a tiny bit of the wilted violet on them. And I'm going to put a few here. If you would like to see, this is what this will look like when the closure tie is opened. And I thought that added a nice touch to that bow. And if you will remember, this opens got a little bit of something that's misbehaving back there. There it is. This opens like this. So I'm going to turn off the computer now and glue these puppies down. This and those two and those three and that. And then I'm going to, oh, goodness, my mind is all over the place. I've decided that it might be very nice to have a piece of my stitchery in here, and so I think I'm going to use this as the main inclusion in this pocket. And I haven't in my mind how I'm going to stitch this. And if you would like to see that process, please leave it in the comments. Otherwise, if you don't find stitchery interesting, I will just go on and do it off camera. So that's my plan, and I will return after having glued down some bits and pieces here. Well, this has all been glued and it's dry, and so I decided to start playing with some ephemera, which will go inside of it. I went into my white ephemera drawer and I found some interesting papers that I'm going to be using. This is an envelope just full of interesting sizes and shapes of doilies, and I found this in the drawer, and that's going to be put to use. And I have some of this that I've been hoarding, and this is shelf edging from that was a very big thing in the 30s and 40s, and I'll repeat as I told you. I remember seeing this on shelves in the kitchen when I was a little girl, and one of these. And while I was trolling around in there, look what I found. Well, aren't I just going to put that to use? And a bag that I'm going to decorate and then fill with goodies. So that's the plan thus far. But right now, oh, and I want to use this to make I think a small journal cover. Wouldn't that be pretty with a little bit of distress ink added, or not? But right now, I'm going to make this. I have gotten out these index cards that I dyed in mauve, and I thought, well, let's make this into a little booklet or a little sheaf of papers that can be used. And then when I was trolling around, I found a piece of my leftovers of my painty paper that I used to cover the journals. So, and if you'll remember, if you have watched them, this is the craft paper that I do it on. And so I thought, let me sign this, and how can I make this to an interesting tie down for this sheaf of paper. And I thought, that might just do the trick. And I'm thinking that all I'm going to do is put some pretty clip closures on here, so that these papers can be used in any way. Now, I've got out my very favorite new contrapsy here, and I'm going to use StazOn Royal Purple. It says in the fine print. And one practice piece. So, I do hope that you're having a good Tuesday, and that your weather is not too horrendous, and if you have had horrendous weather, that it's going to stop soon for you. Oh, very pretty and very sharp. Like it. Like it, like it. So, I'm going to embellish each of these sheets. No, Carol, it was right the first time. leave well enough alone. So, I'm off to the races. Lining it up on 4. And I want to share some good news. I was able, finally, to connect with one of Wendy on Wendy's journal adventure. If you haven't watched her, it's a treat for your creative sensibilities beyond anything. I have wanted to have one of her journals, and I was never able. You know, they were all scooped up before I could get to them. Well, today I was lucky. And I am absolutely dancing sideways because I have wanted one of her journals just to make me happy. So I cannot begin to tell you how happy I am. And this journal's name is Antiquity. And she shows them in her last video. So I'm just enjoying waiting for Antiquity to come home to me. I'm also hoping that sometime I will, if all things are equal, I'd like to have a journal, one of Mrs. Coggs's journals. That would be just wonderful, beyond wonderful. I'd like to try to support other artists, and in the process, I get to have a journal to enjoy, to play in, to add to. So if you'd like to see what Antiquity looks like, go to Wendy's Journal Adventure on YouTube, and you will see. Oh, I love the fact that you can fix up spots with no problem. I think that's probably the thing about this that is the best, because who can ever return a stamp to its exact place by hand? It doesn't happen. And you think you're going to not do this, don't you? Well, I'm not having it. I am just not having it. Number 3. Bingo. I win. And last but not least, and I'm going to turn this around because I'd like the back of this paper stack to be the same unlined part. So this goes here. There it is. Now, I will commune with that later. I'm going to get out my selection of metal closures and make my choice. Now, let's see. The question is to edge this or not to edge it. To distress or not to distress. If I hold them together like this and do just a little bit and just do them as a group, maybe they'll get less, because if I do this, I want them to have, I want it to be less is more. Yes, just a little bit. That's going to do it. I don't want any more. Just the slightest touch of a margin. And now, choices. I don't think these actually have, I don't think this actually has clips in here. No, they're hanging, they're pretty hanging bits of metal. I've had them for ages. I shall have to think how I'm going to use them. No, not there. Well, we always have this one. Oh, we always have these, which would work beautifully. So that's a maybe. And that's a maybe. That's a maybe. That's a maybe. What delicious problems to have. So, the question is, let's audition. Oops. Now this definitely gets a little treatment. Okay. And what happened to that one? What happened, Carol? Something did not go too well. There you go. All right, so let's see. What we can do. Okay, let's try this. Possibly. Let's try this. But I think I'd need 2 of those. Well, I think because of the color, this is almost a pink gold. I'm thinking I'm liking this. I wish I could hear your opinion. Well, that's good. Oh, just make believe I have sense. There we go. No, I don't like that yellowy gold. Decision has been made. That's very good. Wrong one, Karen. Wrong one. Over here. Oh, I didn't try these. Let's see. That doesn't look too bad as compared to these decisions. Are so much fun. This one, this one, this one, this one. I was just trying to look as though I was really motivated to do that, but this is the apple of my eye. Now we have that for inside of the pocket folder, and these to put away. And I'm thinking that I might make a start on the bag. Let's see about the bag. Oh yes, oh yes, 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 yes. It stands out just a little bit and I want it to. Perfect. So, what to do? What to do? A front of bag, commonly known as bag front. Alrighty, I'm going to cover these because I do have a real tendency to set these things off flying. Now, well, that's not making me happy. I just cover this. That would give me a tuck spot. Well, before I get to that, I have to make something pretty on here. Let's see. Let's just see. Use this one all the time because I love it. And I still love it. And my hand keeps going back to it. Ooh. Ooh. Come here. Come to Mother. Wouldn't that if it's done lightly enough? Oh, I'll use the brush. I'll use a brush. Yes, I will. Yes, yes, yes. There it is. Executive art decision. Executive art decision. Brushes. Brush cleanup. Nothing there. That's good. Now, I seem to be constitutionally unable to put something like this down. Straight. I'm going to cover that before, and we'll stencil on it all. All right, what am I going to cover it with? Doesn't this look like it might enjoy joining the fun? Wouldn't this be a vision of flower crazy? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Okay. I'm going to go to my other table and cut this, and I'm going to glue it down and then place stencil. I've decided not to put this over that paper because that paper has potential for other things. So let's have a little we go. There's nothing like these brushes when you have such a busy stencil. I love this stencil, but I didn't use it that often because with sponge and acrylic, I found that it took too many thicknesses of acrylic to get this to show. All of these various little openings. Just didn't like it. Of course I used it, but I wasn't happy until I see this now. So let's start on our goodie bag. Kind of hoping to turn this envelope folder into a real goodie folder, full of pretties that I am going to have more fun than is possible to believe making these goodies. Almost. And I think that I'm going to stop here for today. Because we've gotten quite a lot done. Now, I'm actually going to stop. Let me clean this. I don't know where this goes. The ink, I don't know where it goes. It just ceases to be. And the shadow of it is so minuscule. Love them. Love them, love them. So I'm going to go do my usual process of cleaning up just a bit so that we can look at these things and call this a crafting session. I'll be right back. Well, today's craft with me was just so much fun. We put on these flowers. We attached this pocket and this pleated fabric, pleated paper. And so that is I don't know. I've been putting out of my mind thinking about that back. But something has to happen there. I just know it. And I started some ephemera for inside. These sheets of dyed index cards and a piece of my own leftover piece of offcut of my own artwork. And I started a bag. Let's just call it goodie bag. I started a goodie bag that will eventually go in here. So, there you have it. I do hope that you have enjoyed our time together today, and I would appreciate you giving me a thumbs up, leave a comment, and I would appreciate, of course, you subscribing to my channel. Bye now. See you soon.